All right, popular question. How will the 2024 presidential election affect residential real estate? I'm going to tell you right now. So whether we're ready for it or not, the election is right around the corner. As if there hasn't been enough uncertainty in this world, we now have an election which could be causing you to question your buying and or selling plans. So what I want to do in this video is get into some stats, some data from past elections and how they've affected the real estate market. And we can reasonably deduce that we are going to have similar results, which is going to ultimately, hopefully, help clear your mind on whether you should buy or sell or wait, etc. So home sales might slow down, but not for long. So historically speaking, and I've known this being in real estate since 2006, sales typically slow down following a super spring push and a healthy summer market in seasonal climates like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So chief economist of Zonda, Ali Wolf, anticipates this will happen. Usually, home sales are unchanged compared to a non-election year, with the exception being November. In an election year, November is slower than normal. So basically, people get a wee bit nervous about making decisions during election time. But of course, the slowdown is just going to be temporary. History is going to show us that sales will bounce back in December after the election and keep going through the following year. So I'm going to put up a graphic right now and kind of talk you guys through it. For instance, data from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, otherwise known as HUD, and the National Association of Realtors, NAR, shows that after 9 of the last 11 presidential elections, and you can see it right there, check out the graphic, home sales have increased, I repeat, increased the following year. The graphic tracks home sales since 1978, right? Election years are in blue, as you can see here by, let's just say 2004. You can see the big blue line going up, right? And if sales went up the next year, it's marked in green. So you can see 2005, I'm talking about the two tallest lines. You can see in green, they've gone up there. The only 2 times sales really have dropped after an election year are shown in orange. And listen, realistically, that's so long ago, it's not even really relevant. Considering the current state of real estate across the country, we can anticipate, though, a slowdown may occur. I would say that's only temporary, and based off the graph and the history. Home sales have remained strong over the last couple winters, and that's because we came out of the pandemic and things were still going strong, right? And pre-pandemic winters were kind of ghost town, kind of dead. But during and post-pandemic, we've been able to kind of change the way the seasonal market buyers and sellers have thought. And we've kind of been able to keep on pushing sales a little higher pace, I think, in the winter months. Home prices don't fall, they usually rise. So let's talk about home prices. We just got done talking about sales. What do you think? Do they take a hit during the election years? Not really. Ryan Lundquist, he's a residential appraiser and house analysis, says an election year doesn't alter the price trend that is already happening in the market. All right? It doesn't alter the price trend. So that means whichever way we're trending, neutral, up or down, this election doesn't usually change that. Actually, home prices are pretty resilient. They usually go up, 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 no matter what. That's a little bit of a wrap. Home prices usually go up, 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 no matter what. NAR's latest data shows after 7 of the last presidential elections, home prices went, you guessed it, up, up, up. And I'm going to show you a graph right now. All right, so taking a look at the graph here, just like the sales graph that we just talked about, this one highlights election years in blue. The only time prices dropped after an election are going to be marked in orange again, was during the housing market crash. So, I mean, it's a different era. It was a very unique situation. In today's market's completely different. So all the green bars show when prices rose the year after an election. Again, we're talking about how the election affects residential real estate. And since the election is in November, we're going to be talking primarily about the year after. So that's going to be 2025, right? So if you guys are worried about your home losing value after an election, you can relax. Prices usually rise. Mortgage rates should continue to trend down. There's no doubt the economy is tightly knitted with politics. And real estate, guess what? tightly knitted with the economy. Ergo, real estate is tightly knitted with politics, unfortunately. You know what's very connected to the economy and politics other than real estate? Mortgage rates. That's right. So looking back at the last 11 presidential election years, the data on this graph from Freddie Mac shows that mortgage rates dropped from July to November in 8 of them. Most forecasts suggest that mortgage rates will ease a bit for the rest of the year. I mean, unless you're born under a rock or you don't watch any of my videos, you know that I've been talking about interest rates coming down from what the pundits are saying. The Fed cut the rate just a smidge. The Fed's talking about doing a couple more cuts coming up. So speaking of watching my videos, please hit the subscribe button and pound that little bell so you get notifications. It's almost like a little email. When I post a video, YouTube is going to say the little red thing up by the bell on your YouTube app and say, hey, Ryan posted another video, and you have the choice to watch it or not. All right, not too much of a problem. If they're right, the following year will continue to following the trend of decreasing mortgage rates. If you are a buyer that has been looking to buy soon, this is much needed news you're looking to hear. There is absolutely no doubt that the past few years have been rocked by mortgage rate volatility. Now let's keep in mind, the experts aren't predicting a big drop. So if you just were made an adult during the COVID times and you only know 2 or 3% interest rates, you probably have seen those big drops and you're thinking, oh, interest rate cuts, big drops. No, we're not talking about big drops. That's not going to happen. We're talking about a steady decrease in interest rates. It's going to hardly be noticeable, right? So I keep telling all my buyers, don't wait for the rate to drop in order to make a move. All right, so let's end the video and talk about the bottom line. What is the bottom line? Well, you know, our nation's economic state continues to be in uncertainty. While the country's economic state continues to be challenging, the presidential election may cause consumers to wait and watch in the months to come. So what's the big takeaway? While some presidential elections do have some impact on the housing market, the effect is usually small and it's very temporary. Oh, right? Just like a bee sting. Temporary. As Lisa Sturvant, chief economist for Bright MLS, I know Bright MLS is one of the biggest MLSs. I know it's from Orlando as well. She says, historically, the housing market doesn't tend to look very different in presidential election years compared to other years. Side note, it's important to note that this presidential election is definitely not your typical presidential election, and your real estate professionals should keep a close eye on what's going on. If you're my client, you can tell by making these videos, I'm keeping a very close eye on what's going on for you guys. Make sure you reach out to me with any questions you may have. If you need superior buyer and or seller representation or a good referral to anywhere in the world, please contact me now. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button and bang that bell to get future notifications of amazing content videos just like this.